The wine glass exploded against the polished wooden floor, deep red spreading like spilled blood beneath the muted glow of the chandelier. Sarah's laughter stopped abruptly, hanging in the air like a caught breath. Her gaze darted around the dinner table. Friends, neighbors, all frozen mid-smile. Their laughter dissolved into uneasy silence. At the head of the table, David sat rigid, his grip so tight around his fork that his knuckles gleamed white. The metal flashed under the light, as if it might cut through the tension itself. "It was just a joke," Sarah said quickly, her voice thin, trembling. "You know, like one of those ridiculous reality shows about swapping partners." But the air had shifted. Something heavy pressed against the room, invisible, wrong, as though her words had cracked open a truth no one was ready to see. The night had started so perfectly. Their dining room was warm and inviting. Soft sage walls, candlelight flickering, the hum of easy conversation. The aroma of roasted garlic and rosemary lingered, blending with the tang of red wine. Sarah had spent the afternoon cooking, wanting to impress their new neighbors, Claire and Tom, from across the street. David, ever the charmer, had kept things effortless. A few work stories, some vacation tales, the harmless rhythm of suburban small talk. But when the second bottle of Merlot ran dry, Sarah's teasing comment about trading spouses for a weekend landed like a brick in still water. Claire's smile faltered. Her eyes flicked toward Tom, who coughed and stared at his napkin. David's hand froze midair, fork suspended, jaw tightening. A look Sarah hadn't seen since their last argument. She forced a shaky laugh. "Come on, you guys. I didn't mean it like that." Even she could hear the hollowness in her own voice. Claire opened her mouth, hesitated, then looked away. Tom's fingers drummed against the table. David's chair screeched backward, the sound slicing through the silence. "I need some air," he muttered, heading for the back door. Sarah's stomach knotted. This wasn't just awkward. It felt wrong, deeper somehow. The room seemed to tilt around her, candlelight flickering like nervous secrets on the walls. Later, alone in the kitchen, surrounded by half-cleared dishes and the echo of polite goodbyes, she replayed everything. Had her joke gone too far? She'd always been the witty one, the spark at every dinner. David used to love that about her, but his reaction tonight hadn't been anger. It was something else, something closer to fear. She poured herself another glass of wine, hand unsteady. When she heard the back door creak open, David stepped in, pale beneath the porch light. His voice barely rose above a whisper. "We need to talk." Later, with the guests gone, they sat in the dim living room. The leather couch felt cold beneath Sarah as she shifted, waiting. David stared, not at her, but at the coffee table, where their wedding photo gleamed faintly in its silver frame. "What's going on?" she asked softly. "You've been off all night. If it's about the joke—" "It's not the joke," he cut in, exhaling hard, fists clenched on his knees. "It's everything." Her pulse spiked. Everything. He stood, pacing. His shadow stretched long across the rug. "I saw how Tom looked at you tonight, like he knew something." Sarah blinked. "Knew what?" "David, that doesn't make any sense." His voice cracked. "I saw you two last week at the coffee shop. Laughing. You touched his arm. You didn't see me, but I was there." Her breath caught. The memory surfaced instantly. A brief morning chat over lattes about the neighborhood. The weather, nothing more. Had she touched his arm? Maybe. Harmless. But in David's voice, it sounded like betrayal. "David, it was nothing," she said, rising. "You're twisting this." But the look in his eyes wasn't fury. It was quiet, hollow suspicion, something she couldn't name. The days that followed were like walking through a minefield. David grew distant, his silences heavier. Sarah found herself studying him, his blank expression, his late-night scrolling, the way he flinched when she reached for him. The glow from his phone at midnight carved sharp shadows across his face, making him look like someone she didn't recognize. She tried to close the distance, his favorite meals, movie nights, but everything fell flat. The harder she reached, the further he drifted. Then one night, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message from Claire. "We need to talk. It's about Tom and David." Sarah froze, fingers trembling as she typed back. What do you mean? Claire's reply came fast. Not over text. Meet me tomorrow. The park. 10 a.m. Morning came gray and cold. The park was quiet. The grass slick with dew. Claire sat hunched on a bench, scarf tied around her neck, face pale. I didn't want to believe it, she whispered when Sarah approached. But something's off. Tom's been lying. Secretive. And then I found this. She held up her phone. A photo of a hotel receipt dated 2 months back. The hotel's name, Sarah's voice trailed. It was familiar. He said he was at a work conference. Claire continued, voice trembling. But I called his office. There was no conference. The words sank in slowly, coldly. David's late nights. His secrecy. Her stomach dropped. David was there with him, Sarah murmured. Claire nodded, tears spilling. I think they've been seeing each other. The world tilted. Sarah's knees buckled as she sank beside her, the air rushing out of her lungs. That evening, she confronted David. Her voice shook as she held up Claire's phone. Tell me the truth, David. What were you doing with Tom? For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his face broke, not with guilt, but with exhaustion. It's not what you think, he said, voice low. We weren't like that. He sank into a chair, rubbing a trembling hand through his hair. Tom's been helping me. I'm in trouble, Sarah. I lost money, bad investments. I didn't want you to find out. The confession hit like a wave, relief and heartbreak colliding. Not an affair, but deception all the same. A wall-built brick by secret brick. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered, tears streaming. I'm your wife. I was ashamed, he said softly. I thought I could fix it before you knew. The truth sat between them, raw and jagged. And in that silence, Sarah realized a fracture in their marriage hadn't begun tonight. It had started long before, in small lies, ignored moments, and the comfort pretending things were fine. Now, with glass shattered and every secret laid bare, she stared at the man she'd built her life with, and wondered whether love could survive the wreckage, or if what they'd broken was far too sharp to ever fit back together again.